Hello everyone, what's going on? It's Wildcard back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. This time it is Scareclaws, and I'm going to explain exactly what this deck does and why it could end up being super good. So, basically Scareclaws are, alright, so for the Scareclaw stuff, 3 Acro, 3 Bologna and Cheese, 3 Astra, 3 Rykart, 3 Arrival, and 3 Splash, and 1 to 2 Straddle. Just depends on how you're feeling. Um, uh, but basically, you run 3 of all the little dudes. You run 3 of the basically monsters you run for this deck, but also monster of I think it's protection. Yeah. And then Scareclaw Splash. It's basically you can attack with one of your Scareclaws while it's in defense, or you can destroy it to activate to negate activation. And then Straddle is basically either you're gonna go for game with Straddle or you're gonna just protect something with Straddle. But basically, what Scareclaws do are they going to swarm the field by special summoning themselves over and over and over to the same to columns. They work on columns basically, but essentially what Scareclaws do are you can normal summon one of them, special summon, just continuously special summon them, and each of them are going to give a different effect to what I call Big Boy, aka Scareclaw Tryhard. But that's the Scareclaw stuff. That's the engine for Scareclaws. Also, the field spell, Permanent Planet Rickophobia. It's basically a search on activation, and then it ties in with the defense position stuff by letting you destroy a card if it's got 3 or more defense position monsters on the field, I think. Yeah, just as long as there's 3 or more defense position monsters on the field, you can target a card, destroy it. For support, Rescue Cap, because it's basically a free. It gets you to your Scareclaws if you cannot get to a Scareclaw in your opening hand. Forbidden Lance, I probably would just switch this out for a Straddle, honestly. Like, it ain't worth not running it with a Straddle. And then Terraforming to search Phobia in case you don't draw it. That is all that there is in this deck for in terms of, like, what you have to play in this deck for Scareclaws. The rest of this deck can be made up of any hand traps you so wish, which gives you 15 slots for hand traps in your main deck. It's stupid. I don't know who at Konami decided this was a good idea, but you can play 15 hand traps in this deck with no issues at all. It's very much fun. For extra deck monsters, you run 3 of the Link 1. Depending on how tight your extra deck is, you can run 2 of it. I wouldn't run less than 2. Essentially what it does is you'll Link summon it. It will get you a Rig Phobia, and then you can just... It essentially makes this deck into where you can get started and you can go combo with a 1 card. More cards are better, obviously, but you can at least go into a combo with 1 card. Next is Tryhard. I run 2. Essentially, Tryhard is how the Scareclaw strategy is working. Is Tryhard you make Tryhard, put him in your extra monster zone. All of your little Scareclaws are everything gets switched to defense. It's unaffected by monsters in defense, and then all of your little Scareclaws are gonna get buffs like more attacks, more attack points, piercing, all that kind of stuff. But it's a very I mean, you can play it pretty much any deck, and it's got good arrows. So, yeah. Tryhard, you run 2 of it. It's your boss monster, essentially. And then, this deck can take advantage of every generic Link monster that's ever existed. So, I run the Nightmare, I run Saryuja, in case, Tryhard, something goes wrong, I can play Saryuja. I run the Nightmare package of Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus. Spell and trap removal, just generic removal. And then they've got good arrows, and you can get some draws off of them as well, since co-linking is a big thing in this deck. Rugal the Silver Sheller. I would probably switch this out for a Shureg the Ominous Omen, if you have it. If not, this is a good generic, because it's going to get you something back from the graveyard. Now, here's my spicy tech. Boral End Dragon and Boral Code Dragon. Boral End Dragon is essentially a Boral Sword Dragon with 500 more attack, and it requires 1 more material, which in this deck is very easy to get to. But it's basically they can't touch the thing. So if you're going to end for game, play this. Boro Code Dragon is essentially protection, and then if it was linked summon using 3 monsters and material, you can destroy all monsters in the field, and then if it gets sent to the graveyard, you can banish it to special summon 1 dark monster with 3,000 more attack from no. You can banish this card from the graveyard, banish 1 dark monster on the field, which is pretty much any monster in the deck that comes from your extra deck. I mean, Licht Heart, or Light Heart, Tri-Heart, or any of them, or Nightmare Unicorn, or Rykart. You can banish it and this from the graveyard, and you can make Topologic Bomber Dragon. Summon Topologic Bomber Dragon in your extra monster zone. You can just summon anything random like a Scareclaw, and it'll nuke the field. But yeah, that's a, what is it, 5, 10, 13 card extra deck. So I would say run things like Appaloosa too. IP Masquerena is a good link monster, you know, everyone likes IP Masquerena. That's the deck, and then side deck, again, as it is with most of my videos, just run whatever you think you need. This deck, I think what you want to do is put some spell and trap removal in there, which you can main 15 hand traps, generic staple stuff if you want it. So basically, whatever you can't fit in your main deck, put it in your extra deck, and just go vroom. But I'll show you an example combo. So for all we need for our example combo is something like Rescue Cat, one of the Scareclaws. Arrival is a good card to open with, but it's not mandatory. Or Splash, that's a good card to open with too. Basically, these are your starters. Any Scareclaw monster or Rescue Cat. And then this is an extender. So essentially how the combo would work is summon Scareclaw, link off for Licht Heart, make Licht Heart, you'll search for Rakephobia, you'll activate the Rakephobia, search for Rykart, and then depending on what you got in your hand, this would be in your graveyard, but depending on what you have in your hand, if you still have the Rescue Cat, you can't use it. But if you have an Arrival, activate the Arrival, special summon back one. And if you don't have the Arrival, you'll special summon the Rykart. Rykart's effect, search the Arrival, activate the Arrival, search for, or special summon back one of your old Scareclaw, use the 3, link summon Tri-Heart, Tri-Heart's effects, special summon back a Scareclaw from your graveyard, and then search one from your deck. I personally, if I have Astra or Balone, I like to search for the counterpart, because essentially Balone is going to give you piercing. Astra gives you more attacks for every defense position monster on the field, or every defense position monster you control. Acro is attack booster, and then Rykart is a search. But yeah, it's a pretty simple deck. You can combine it with Tri-Brigade if you want. You just can't run as many hand traps. But if you're comfortable, I don't like running Tri-Brigade in the deck just because I feel like it can get clunky, because once you use that effect on Tri-Heart, you're locked into Scareclaw monsters, just in general. So I personally don't like to run Tri-Brigade in it just because I'd prefer to run the hand traps than situational Tri-Brigade stuff that can not even come up on your turn. But yeah, it's a very simple, it's a budget deck. Nothing in the deck is very expensive other than staple cards. I think the most expensive might be Tri-Heart, which is like $5. And this is a very cheap extra deck. Nothing in here is super expensive. But yeah, you can probably build the deck for $30, maybe $40, and then staples or whatever you want to play. You would basically have 15 free slots in this deck to play with. But that was the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, like the video if you want. I don't really care. But hope you enjoyed. This is Wildcards signing out.